There are certain people who walk through life carrying something so rare and precious that the world doesn't know how to recognize their value until it's almost too late, and you might be one of them. Have you ever felt like you see the world differently than everyone around you? Like you possess insights and sensitivities that others dismiss or overlook? Like your deepest gifts are the very things that make you feel most isolated and misunderstood? Today we explore this profound reality through the extraordinary teachings of Minamoto no Yoshitsune, the legendary Japanese warrior philosopher who discovered that the rarest souls often endure the longest struggles precisely because their gifts are too precious for an ordinary world to immediately comprehend. What Yoshitsune understood about the journey of the rare soul will transform how you view your own struggles with recognition and belonging, and more importantly, it will reveal why your apparent delays and setbacks are actually the universe's way of preparing you for a victory that ordinary people could never achieve. Before we dive into this potentially life-changing exploration, I need you to connect with this community right now, because what we're discussing today speaks directly to those who have felt different their entire lives. Hit that like button. If you've ever wondered why recognition seems to come easily to others but remains elusive for you despite your obvious talents, subscribe to this channel because we're building a sanctuary for rare souls who understand that their journey looks different by design. And most importantly, comment below with the phrase, "My time is coming," because I want to witness your faith in your own eventual victory. Yoshitsune's understanding of the rare soul's journey began with his own experience of being born into extraordinary circumstances that initially appeared to be a blessing, but quickly revealed themselves to be the source of his greatest challenges and ultimate strength. As a member of the prestigious Minamoto clan during one of Japan's most turbulent periods, young Yoshitsune possessed noble blood, exceptional intelligence, and natural leadership abilities that should have guaranteed him a life of honor and recognition. Yet political upheaval destroyed his family when he was barely 10 years old and left him completely alone in a world that suddenly had no place for his gifts. Rather than being raised in the comfort and recognition that his talents deserved, he was exiled to live among Buddhist monks in a remote mountain monastery, where his aristocratic sensibilities and warrior instincts had to be suppressed and hidden, while he learned to survive in obscurity. The irony was devastating because everything that made Yoshitsune exceptional became the source of his isolation. His strategic mind had no battles to plan. His leadership abilities had no followers to guide. His noble heritage became a dangerous secret rather than a source of pride. And his natural charisma had to be carefully concealed to avoid drawing unwanted attention from those who might see him as a threat to the new political order. For years, Yoshitsune watched as lesser individuals rose to positions of power and recognition while he remained hidden in the mountains, developing his skills in secret and waiting for an opportunity that seemed like it might never come. This period of enforced obscurity could have broken his spirit or convinced him that his gifts were meaningless, but instead it taught him the most important lesson any rare soul can learn about timing, preparation, and the mysterious way the universe orchestrates victories for those who possess something truly special. What Yoshitsune discovered during those years of waiting was that rare souls don't win fast because their victories require more preparation. Their impact demands more maturity, and their gifts are too powerful to be entrusted to someone who hasn't been thoroughly tested by life's most challenging experiences. The monks at the monastery couldn't understand why this young aristocrat seemed perpetually restless and dissatisfied with the simple life of prayer and contemplation they offered. They didn't recognize that his spirit was designed for leadership and action, rather than passive acceptance and withdrawal from worldly affairs. Night after night, Yoshitsune would practice sword techniques in secret, developing fighting skills that had no immediate application, but that he somehow knew would be essential for his future survival and success. During the day, he studied military strategy and political philosophy with an intensity that worried the monks, who feared that his worldly ambitions would corrupt the spiritual purity they were trying to cultivate in their remote sanctuary. But Yoshitsune instinctively understood something that his caretakers could not see, that his period of hiding was not meant to diminish his natural gifts, but to refine them in ways that conventional education and privileged circumstances never could have accomplished. Think about this in your own life right now, and really allow yourself to feel the parallels between Yoshitsune's experience and your own journey of feeling misunderstood and undervalued. How many times have you watched people with half your talent or insight achieve recognition and success while you remained in the background, working harder, seeing more clearly, offering more value, yet somehow remaining invisible to the very people who should be celebrating your contributions? How often have you wondered if there's something wrong with you, if your standards are too high, if your approach is fundamentally flawed? if perhaps you're not as special as you believed yourself to. B. Yoshitsune would tell you that these very doubts are proof of your rarity, because ordinary souls don't torture themselves with questions about their purpose and impact. They don't hold themselves to impossible standards of excellence and integrity. They don't feel the weight of unused potential pressing against their consciousness every single day. Your struggle with recognition isn't evidence of your inadequacy. It's evidence that you possess something so valuable that the universe refuses to waste it on premature victories that would diminish rather than showcase your true power. Let me share with you the story of how Yoshitsune finally broke free from his years of obscurity. And pay close attention because this story contains the blueprint for how rare souls eventually claim their rightful place in the world. When Yoshitsune was 22 years old, Japan found itself embroiled in a civil war that would determine the future of the entire nation. A conflict so complex and dangerous that conventional military strategies were proving completely inadequate against the challenges it presented. His half-brother Yoritomo, who had established himself as the leader of the Minamoto clan's restoration efforts, was struggling against superior numbers and better-equipped enemies who seemed to anticipate and counter every traditional approach to warfare that his advisors could devise. It was at this moment of desperate need that Yoshitsune finally revealed himself and offered his services to the cause that carried his family name, bringing with him not just his noble bloodline, but a completely revolutionary approach to military strategy that had been developing in secret during all those years of apparent exile and wasted potential. What happened next would change Japanese history forever and provide the perfect illustration of why rare souls must wait so long for their moment of recognition and triumph. Yoshitsune's first major campaign was unlike anything that had been seen before in Japanese warfare, combining lightning-fast mobility with psychological warfare and tactical innovations that caught his enemies completely off guard and achieved victories that seemed almost magical in their scope and effectiveness. But here's what made Yoshitsune's breakthrough different from ordinary success stories. And this is crucial for you to understand about your own eventual recognition and the victory that's being prepared for you, even as we speak. When rare souls finally win, they don't just achieve personal success, they transform the entire landscape of what's possible in their field of influence. They don't just get recognition for their own capabilities. They redefine what excellence means for everyone who comes after them. They don't just solve immediate problems. They reveal solutions that change how people approach similar challenges for generations to come. Your current delay isn't a punishment or a mistake in the cosmic plan. It's a necessary preparation period for a level of impact that requires more time, more wisdom, more strength, and more complete understanding than ordinary achievements demand from those who pursue them. In your personal relationships, this means that the connections that have failed to recognize your depth and authenticity were actually protecting you from settling for superficial bonds that could never appreciate or nurture the complexity of who you really are. The friendships that drifted away when you started growing and changing weren't losses. They were clearings, making space for relationships that can handle your full intensity and support your continued evolution, rather than trying to keep you small and manageable. The romantic partnerships that ended because you wanted more depth, more growth, more meaning than they were prepared to provide weren't failures of your ability to love or be loved. They were redirections toward a connection that will celebrate rather than tolerate your refusal to accept ordinary when extraordinary is possible. Are you starting to see your story differently now? To recognize patterns in your life that previously felt like random disappointments, but now reveal themselves as part of a larger design that's been preparing you for something magnificent? Can you begin to understand that what you've interpreted as rejection might actually be selection? That what felt like failure might actually be preparation? That what seemed like cruel timing might actually be perfect orchestration of events beyond your current ability to see their ultimate purpose and design? I need to pause here and speak directly to your heart, because I know that if you're truly a rare soul listening to this message, you've probably spent years feeling like something was fundamentally wrong with you for not fitting into the patterns of success and recognition that seem to work so effortlessly for other people around you. You've probably questioned your worth, doubted your gifts, wondered if you were delusional about your own potential, considered settling for far less than what your soul knows is possible just to finally experience some form of acceptance and belonging in a world that seems designed for people who are nothing like you. But Yoshitsune's story reveals the devastating truth about what happens when rare souls compromise their authentic nature to fit into systems and environments that were never designed to accommodate their level of vision and capability. Before his eventual triumph, there were moments when even Yoshitsune questioned whether his years of preparation were meaningful, or whether he should simply accept the humble life of a Buddhist monk and abandon the worldly ambitions that seem to bring him nothing but frustration and isolation. The pressure to conform, to give up his dreams of military glory and political influence, to convince himself that his desires for impact and recognition were somehow spiritually inferior to the peaceful acceptance that surrounded him in the monastery, nearly broke his resolve on multiple occasions during those long years of waiting and uncertainty. But every time he considered surrendering his true nature to fit into the expectations of those around him, something deep within his soul rebelled against the compromise and reminded him that his gifts weren't given to him to be hidden or wasted in service of other people's comfort with mediocrity and limitation. This internal struggle between authenticity and acceptance is the defining challenge that every rare soul must navigate, and your ability to remain true to your deepest nature, despite external pressure to conform, will determine whether you eventually claim your rightful place of influence, or spend your life wondering what might have been if you had possessed the courage to trust your own exceptional instincts and capabilities. In your professional life, this understanding changes everything about how you view your career trajectory and current position in ways that will either liberate you to pursue opportunities worthy of your talents or condemn you to a lifetime of unfulfillment and resentment. Instead of seeing your current obscurity as evidence that you're not valuable enough or qualified enough or connected enough to deserve better opportunities, you can recognize it as proof that you're being prepared for positions of influence that require more than ordinary qualifications and conventional experience can provide. Instead of feeling frustrated by supervisors and colleagues who don't appreciate your full capabilities or understand your innovative approaches to common problems, you can understand that they're simply not equipped to recognize or utilize what you have to offer. Which means you're in the wrong environment rather than being the wrong person for advancement and success. Instead of doubting your instincts and insights when they consistently run counter to conventional wisdom, or ahead of what others in your field can see or accept, you can trust that your advanced perspective is exactly why your eventual position of leadership will be so impactful and necessary for progress in your chosen area of expertise. The rare soul's journey requires a fundamental shift in how you measure progress and define success that most people will never understand or support, and your willingness to adopt these different metrics will determine whether you can sustain your development during the long periods of apparent stagnation that are actually times of intensive internal preparation. While ordinary people can gauge their advancement by external markers like salary increases, job titles, social recognition, and peer approval, rare souls must learn to measure their progress by internal indicators like wisdom gained, skills developed, character strengthened, purpose clarified, and vision expanded. This isn't about settling for less or making excuses for lack of conventional achievement. It's about recognizing that your kind of achievement requires a different timeline and a different preparation process than what works for more conventional paths to recognition and influence. Yoshitsune spent 12 years in apparent exile before his moment of destiny arrived. 12 years that looked like wasted potential to everyone who observed his situation from the outside, but that were actually the most crucial period of his entire development as both a warrior and a leader. During those years, he wasn't just learning sword techniques and military strategy. He was developing the inner strength and clarity of purpose that would allow him to handle the intense pressures and moral complexities that come with positions of real power and influence. He was cultivating the patience and wisdom that would prevent him from abusing his eventual authority, or becoming corrupted by the success that would transform him from an unknown exile into one of the most celebrated figures in Japanese history. When his breakthrough finally came, it wasn't just a personal victory. It was a demonstration of what becomes possible when exceptional individuals are given enough time and challenge to fully develop their potential before being entrusted with opportunities to reshape the world around them. Your current struggles with recognition and belonging aren't happening to you as some kind of cosmic punishment or evidence of your inadequacy. They're happening for you as essential preparation for a level of success and influence that would overwhelm and corrupt someone who hadn't been thoroughly tested and refined by extended periods of difficulty and uncertainty. But here's what you must understand about your eventual victory and the responsibility that will come with it. And this is perhaps the most important insight Yoshitsune offers to rare souls who are still waiting for their moment to arrive and claim their rightful place of influence and recognition. When you finally do receive the opportunities and acknowledgement you've been preparing for throughout all these years of apparent delay and frustration, you will carry a responsibility that ordinary success stories never encounter. A responsibility to use your platform and influence to create space and opportunities for other rare souls who are still waiting for their turn to be discovered and developed. Your victory isn't just about personal vindication or individual achievement, or proving that you were right about your own potential all along. It's about demonstrating that the path of the rare soul leads somewhere worthwhile, that the struggles and delays and periods of invisibility eventually pay off in ways that justify every difficult moment and every instance of being overlooked or undervalued. This means that your current experience of being misunderstood and underappreciated is actually teaching you how to recognize and elevate others who possess exceptional gifts that haven't yet been acknowledged by the world around them. Your eventual position of influence will come with the wisdom to spot rare souls before they become obvious to everyone else, to create opportunities for people whose contributions aren't immediately apparent, but whose potential is undeniable to those who have learned how to look beyond surface appearances and conventional qualifications. This is why the universe takes such extraordinary care in preparing rare souls for their eventual victories and positions of leadership, because those victories will ripple outward and create positive change for countless other people who are still developing their own exceptional capabilities in obscurity and isolation. If this understanding of the rare soul's journey resonates deeply with something you've always known but never heard articulated so clearly before, if you recognize your own story in Yoshitsune's teachings about delayed but inevitable victory, and the cosmic timing that governs exceptional achievements, then you're ready to embrace your identity as someone whose greatest contributions are still ahead of you. Subscribe to this channel and activate that notification bell, because we're building a community of rare souls who understand that their timing is different by design, and their eventual impact will justify every moment of preparation and every instance of being overlooked or undervalued by those who lack the vision to recognize authentic greatness when it's still developing. But more importantly, I want you to take action right now by sharing in the comments below the specific gift or capability you possess that the world hasn't fully recognized yet, the unique perspective or solution or creative vision that others consistently overlook because they're not ready for what you have to offer. Whatever exceptional thing lives within you that's still waiting for its proper moment and platform to emerge and transform the lives of people who desperately need what only you can provide, I want you to name it and claim it in the comments, because acknowledging your rarity is the first step toward preparing for your inevitable victory. Remember what Yoshitsune discovered through his own journey from exile to legend, from obscurity to immortality, from being forgotten to being celebrated across centuries. The rarest souls always win last, not because they're less capable than others, but because their victories matter too much to the future of humanity to waste on anything less than perfect timing and complete preparation for the responsibility that comes with genuine greatness and lasting influence.